Highland Brewing Company today with the founder, Oscar Wong. Oscar, a long way from the basement of Barley's.
Sure is. It was 14 feet, and now we have almost 30 feet of ceiling height.
And that was almost 20 years ago.
Right. Next year is 20 years. Correct.
Now, most people know the story of your engineering background and you're venturing into the beer world and amateur brewer turned now the godfather of the Asheville beer scene. Did you ever imagine from those humble beginnings this year?
Not at all. Actually, I thought that by the time we got the breweries going, you would have one or two breweries in Asheville and just like in Europe. But this is America. Now we have 14. Oh my gosh.
Now, how long ago was it that you guys moved into this complex here?
6.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all.
Were you a little bit nervous about the move? In other words, would there be the market for all of our beer that we're making?
We were. In fact, when we walked in here, I brought my wife. I was so proud to show her the space, and she was aghast. You know, what in the world are you doing? She said, I think we'll make it happen. And we filled it up sooner than we thought.
And the bottling operation, I believe this is the only brewery in town that bottles the 12-ounce bottles?
I think Green Man is starting up one themselves. They're getting a plug for free.
And you were certainly the first. And
first legal.
Ah, yes. Let's clarify that. For people that aren't familiar with your story, give them a little bit of background on Oscar Wong, where you spent the first part of your life.
Well, I was born in Jamaica from Chinese parents. I got to go to Notre Dame, and then I spent 25 years in engineering, got a master's in structural engineering, worked on nuclear power plants, and eventually my business that I sold was really specializing in designing, building, and operating nuclear waste processing facilities. This, however,
well, that's a natural transition into beer from nuclear waste to making awesome beers, and one that you're now distributing in how many states in the South? Seven states in the South.
From Florida to Virginia.
That's impressive.
Well, the bulk of our sales are still in the state of North Carolina, and that's how we like it.
And you've got some following with some of your seasonals that's almost legendary. Cold Mountain, when it's released every year, you can't put enough cars in the parking lot. There's not enough room for the people that want to taste Cold Mountain, which is the product, of course, your head brewer, John Lyda, his recipes, and your great team that you've got here.
Came up, it was Holiday Ale event initially, and then we gradually morphed into Winter Ale and then Cold Mountain Winter Ale when the book came out. And when the movie came out, it really took off. Yeah.
And it's not your only seasonal. Now you guys are doing them year-round, and they're all named after either mountaintops or regions of Western North Carolina.
Mountaintops are geographic, iconic places that the Southern Appalachian people really like.
And whose idea was that?
That was internal at staff. Ben, I started with the idea of the mountaintops, but then Ben Wicker, who is one of our staff, who tied us in with the Southern Appalachian group.
Now you guys purchased all the land surrounding Highland Brewery now.
Yeah, we have 40 acres here.
Now what are the plans for?
Well, we'll have maybe routes, walking trails, and right now we're just concentrating on the building on the brewery.
And you have Troy & Sons Distillery that moved in next door. That's a nice compliment.
They're subleasing from us, and I started with them, and they're on their own now and growing fast. We have Mate Factor with tea. So we have some libations going on around here.
And the tasting room that you guys opened not that long ago, the music scene that's going on there, and the ability to do some of the small batch brews.
The small batch brews was a great present for the brewers. They love it. It gives them an opportunity to really just make things from scratch, new things all the time. But I have to confess that it was the staff that got me into it, because I'm not a big retail guy.
But it keeps the excitement level up too as new beers keep coming out and people want to come back.
Absolutely, it's turned out to be a really good thing.
Okay, 2 final questions for you. Now make that 3. 2 about beer directly. Okay. What is the favorite beer that you produce of yours?
For me,
For you?
currently it's an oatmeal porter.
Okay.
At my age, I need the oatmeal.
And are you willing to give props to another brewery in town? Do you have another beer in Asheville from a local brewery that you really enjoy as well?
I would say the Wedge makes some delicious beers, and I won't pick one.
Say
in
which
particular,
one over there.
But they do make some beers.
And that'll lend itself into our final question, which is where do you see the Asheville beer scene going from here? It's already come so far.
I think it's become a mecca for a lot of visitors, and new brewing operations are still coming up and getting started. I think it will continue to grow. It seems like it's saturated already, but there's the old saw about how many pizza joints can a town support? Well, I don't think we're topped out yet.
No, I'm from a place that has a pizza joint in every corner, so I can tell you that there's probably room for more beer as more people are exposed to the Asheville market.
And I think what will happen is that they'll just expand in the numbers of in the category. It will expand. That's where the room is.
20th anniversary coming up soon. Any big plans?
Yes, we'll have. There's a discussion among the staff about having a special beer or more than one special beer for that year. There's a discussion about, do we have a one-shot deal or do we have it all year long?
I vote for all year. The year of the beer?
Actually, I did too. But we'll see, because this is very democratic. Some of our older folks say sometimes it's too democratic, which will not be the case with my daughter.
Kind of an oxymoron, too democratic.
Yeah. Well, they feel like they get things moving along more quickly if someone's in charge. It takes. Now, my daughter's like that.
Oh, okay.
She cuts to the chase, and I've warned them. I said, I've been easy, but she's going to be tougher on you.
Cracking the whip?
Yeah. They'll be taking advantage of me, actually. But.
Oscar, thanks for taking some time with us today. Love talking about your beer and your brewery.
My pleasure.
Hi, my name is John Lyda. I'm the brewmaster at Highland Brewing Company. I've been here since day one, which we started in '94. July '94 is when I started. We have 5 regular beers. We come up with seasonals. We have 4 seasonals that we're typically doing. They change up year to year. We have Cold Mountain that we do in the fall for the holiday seasons. That's one that where we spice it. Doesn't matter how much we make, it always seems to be gone faster than I expect. And the spices on that changes up every year. Typically you can guarantee vanilla is going to be in there. The beer itself is designed with a hole in it for the spices, so we'll brew it with a hole in it. Gaelic Ale is our #1 seller. It's been around. It used to be called Celtic Ale back in the day, and then we had to change the name because another brewery was already using it, so we named it Gaelic Ale. Oatmeal Porter is another one that's second biggest seller right now, and then the rest kind of fall in line. Room, we try to keep our regular beers on tap all the time. We have the pilot room. We come up with 3 barrel batches. Do the what is it? Small batch brews, brewer's stash is what they're calling them now. And that's where I spend most of my time right now, is playing around with new recipes. Some of those come to the big system as a seasonal. A lot of them are just playing. We also use it for guest brews. We run sales staff through it, accounting, you name it. Everybody gets a chance to brew here to get a better idea. Our focus here is on quality, so the more that our employees understand what goes into the process, the more they can focus on that quality and understand, how important it is. When it comes to brewing a beer, when I'm coming up with a new beer, I always start with the end in mind. It might be some spice or some grain or hop or something that I've come across that I really want to play around with, and you typically build around that focus, build your batch around it. It's a lot like in a kitchen where you've got all these spices and all these ingredients you can use, you know, and a chef comes up with his creations. Same principle, you know. You have something in your mind already, and the experience helps you to get there. My favorite beer, Black Mocha Stout. As a regular lineup, Thunderstruck is one of my favorite seasonals. Any Belgian beer. Belgian beers are the ones that got me into this, and I just like the complexity of it. And that's probably why I go towards the Mocha Stout and the Thunderstruck, is you know, they're complex beers. Someone that has never tried Highland, usually what we do is we ask them what beers they typically drink, and then we can kind of steer them towards the right beer. With our beers, we have a wide range, you know, that they can choose from, so we can usually steer somebody in the right direction. No Pilsners at this point because we can't keep up with the ales, and Pilsners just take so long to do. That's one of those things that I'd like to play around with once we get enough tanks. So.